company.
Okay.
So this is good practice. So
Okay.
I feel very uncomfortable with the camera.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See?
And this
Stick
chair,
with it.
yeah, this chair is driving me nuts.
Is that-
Let me flip the chair. Because it's like, not flat. Wow, they're heavy chairs. It's making me crazy. Hopefully this one doesn't do it too, because then it's the floor. No, it seems much better now.
Hello, America. I'm Glenn Beck, and if you haven't
that
heard,
guy, I swear to God. Okay. All right, so I guess I'm recording now. All right. So, guess what March 2nd is?
What is March 2nd?
It's 1 year on the snake diet.
Are you serious? Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1 year.
1 year.
Yep.
A whole year has gone by.
Yep.
Was that after Mom passed away, right? Or before?
Let's see. So, Mom got sick in November. And then she died in August of the next year. So, no.
It started before.
That was 2016. She got sick right into 2017.
Right.
And then, so, yeah, actually, yeah, it was. God damn, that's a good question.
Wait, did you start the diet before we went to Chicago or after we went to Chicago?
After.
Okay,
I started-
then that answers my question.
So wait a minute. So you guys,
was
I
after.
started after the powerlifting.
Yeah, that was after.
So that was 2018.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So my mom had long
yes,
passed.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
That answers
Yep.
my question.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that straightened it out for me. So what were you thinking about the snake diet?
So, what did you think?
What did you think about
You
it?
know what I thought about it.
I don't
was
know.
scared.
Were you?
Yes.
Why were you scared?
Because I was worried about something happening to you.
Like what?
Like being dehydrated or, passing out or getting sick or, I don't know, do some type of physical harm to your body because it didn't sound safe when you first came in.
Right.
However, when I discussed this with you at the beginning, you informed me that you were following up with doctors and you were
I
learning
was.
everything you could.
Right.
And even my friend Laura, the one that's the nurse,
Right.
too,
Jack's mom.
who was, worried about it.
Right.
You gave us both the same spiel, and then we were kind of like, okay, you're doing it all right.
What was interesting is that she is an RN,
Yeah.
and that I remember that it was Tristan
Coming
came home.
Yeah, coming home, yeah.
And she said that it was idiotic.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, so indirectly you just called me an idiot when I'm shrinking before your
Right.
very eyes, right? But I think I handled it pretty civil instead of...
No, we sat down outside, remember? We sat down outside and we were having the conversation and you kind of told her all the stuff you told me about that you were following up with doctors and being responsible and that you'd lost so much weight. At that point, you'd already lost quite a bit of weight.
Yeah.
And that all your levels of everything were good.
Yep.
And that you had done all the research.
Yep.
And then she was not, again, like you kind of, if you were a lawyer, you would have won the case.
Yeah, awesome. You guys provided me my very first mega cheat meal. Did you
Was
know
it that day?
That was the going away for Tristan.
Oh, the going away, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I sat in your car, or I sat in my car, and I looked at your house and I was like, there's all kinds of treats in there. I know what's in there, and I said, okay, you're gonna have 2 cookies. Get out of there. And you know what I had that day?
No, because I don't even remember what food was there.
I think I had close to 3 slabs of baby back ribs to myself
Right.
and 22 cookies.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
22 cookies?
Yeah, I had 11.
There was
Right?
too many.
Well, I was sat there with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left, I walked by and I said, I'm going to do the same thing again. And I grabbed another 11. and I had 5 of those cookies when I got home with like half a gallon of milk.
Oh my God.
So Oh yeah, and I ate a whole bag of Doritos that day.
So that was toward the beginning of it, though,
Because
they left in May.
that's how I recovered from nicotine sickness.
Yes. But they left in May, so if you started in March, you were only 2 months into it at that point.
Yep, that's right.
And
No, I started on March 2nd.
right, but I'm saying, so it was
May. That he left, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it was like May 8th or 7th that they
Right.
left, I think, that we had the going away party.
But I was really happy you guys had that for many reasons, you know. But for on a personal reason, that all that food helped me recover from nicotine sickness.
Is that it?
Yeah,
I
because I was doing all that fasting, right?
Right.
And I think, yeah, I broke a 12-day fast that night at your party, right? And so the day before, yes, this is exactly what happened. The day before at jiu-jitsu, it was on a Sunday,
Yep.
right? So the Saturday.
No, it was Saturday was the party. So it was Friday night that you were at
Friday
jiu-jitsu.
night I'm at jiu-jitsu, and I had all this energy out of nowhere. I mean, I couldn't even understand it because I had been 11 days with no food. And they said, okay, since there weren't a lot of people there, we were just going to open spar. And so
I remember this.
yeah, so I sparred for like fucking. I could have gone until the middle of the night.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell? And I rode my bike home. No, I didn't ride my bike home.
No, not that night.
So after the sparring, I jumped in my car and I pulled out and started on my way home. And about 10 seconds into the ride home, I got smacked with a nicotine sickness I've never had before.
Really?
Because for 11 days, all I was doing is hitting my vaporizer.
Right.
And that was kind of like appetite suppressant.
Yeah.
for me. And so I had gone through bottle after bottle.
And you
after
overdid
bottle.
it.
Oh, easily. And so I got home and I just felt like warmed over death, you know? And I was wondering, why am I feeling so low? I thought it was from fatigue, from all the exercise. And I was so sick, it actually put me to sleep. And then when I woke up, I grabbed my vaporizer out of habit, and I took a puff of it, and all that nicotine sickness came back after the first puff, and I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And so I literally took my nicotine unit into the garage and smashed it. And that was the last time I ever puffed.
Again.
Was the day of Tristan's going away. And then I went over to your house, still feeling pretty much like ass, right? And I started eating. And by the end of the night, I felt like tip top with all the food.
Right.
Right. Like the food brought me back to nicotine sickness. So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I did that just for that. I sent my kids to the Marines.
How you see into the future.
Right. I'm like,
For
I know
these
if
particular
they go to the
moments.
Marines and we have a going away party, Larry will feel better.
She's good.
I'm a mom. We have special powers.
She's a mom. She's a mom. I'm sure I still got some
Superpowers.
focus. Yeah. All right. So what would you say to somebody who's thinking about doing a snake tag?
Okay, well, first of all, I would say they need to be very informed, and they need to definitely have insurance and be willing to follow up with doctors. I think
Willing to
that's
pay out of
important.
pocket for some blood work.
And don't just, if you're going to do it, don't halfway do it.
Do it.
Right.
Right.
Because
Do
it
it,
seems
yeah.
like if you're halfway doing it, you can get sicker. It's almost bad for you.
Not really. I don't think so. I would disagree with you on
Do you?
that part, because here's what happens when I coach people, and I've attempted to coach. Maybe I'm a shitty coach. I don't know, but I've attempted to coach like 17 people.
Mm-hmm.
2 have stuck it because the protocols ask so much of you.
Right.
That people aren't willing to take on that.
No,
sort
it's
of
like a
commitment to
major life
themselves.
change.
Yeah. It's for me. I can tell you, it was scary.
Yeah.
I thought about fasting, and I thought about going half a day without food, especially in powerlifting. I was like, no, that just doesn't seem right. And then to like go 3 days, I was like, it's crazy.
Right.
And
10 days.
But even underneath that, it was a fear of the unknown. You just don't know, like what could happen. But then I was watching Cole's videos, And I remember a few things he said. One was, there's food everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You're not going to starve yourself. No one is going to starve themselves to death on
Right.
the snake diet. You will break and you will eat. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's true. I know I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so you've got all these safety nets around you, right? And basically, it's like, you know, people will chew their arm off to survive.
Yes.
So I mean, but the medical stuff, you know, I really didn't care at that point because I saw what could happen down the road if I didn't like get a grip on it, and no one had offered me any sort of real solution. Like, no one ever in my life had offered me anything. Even my dad, as much as he knew, he had no solution
Right.
for me. And here comes this little motherfucker out of Canada who says he's got the answer.
Right.
And you don't have to turn to anybody else. Really? So let me see. And then after 4 days into it, I knew, yeah, this was it.
Okay, but what made this diet different for you than the other diets?
Because this diet harnesses the power of ketosis.
Okay, so that works for you, but my thing is that not everything works for everybody, as we've learned.
It will,
correct?
though, if you give ketosis a chance.
Right.
You are nature or God or whatever you want
Right.
to call it. As a human being, you have the power to put yourself to a state of ketosis. And it doesn't matter whether you hope, whether you're anybody. Ketosis is ketosis across the board. Ketones are ketones. Your liver produces them, and their job, there are many functions.
Yeah.
But in the fat loss arena, ketones empty fat cells of their contents when you don't have sugar.
But there's different, here's I guess what I'm trying, there's different diets and stuff, and you tried them and they didn't work for you, but certain diets work for other people.
That's true.
And so what I'm saying is like, just because it works for you, it may not work for other people. And with this, it's such a serious commitment, like, and such a lifestyle change.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
just-
is.
It really comes down to how long can you not eat? Because if you can abstain from food, you're going to go into ketosis.
My biggest thing about this is just being smart, and people don't study and learn everything they should. And I
That's
think
true.
this particular diet, they need to be educated when they're doing
Yeah,
it.
it will force you.
Yeah.
Like if you decide to do it, you will no doubt be bored, can't eat. You're going to go to Google.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be seeing results that are like amazing. And you'll go, I wonder what all that's about.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you feel like having medical, like the fact that you follow through with your doctors
It gives
and
you
stuff,
some closure. Yeah.
was
It helps
smart.
you understand. I say it's a tool and use it.
And I think it gives you reassurance if you're on the right track.
It definitely assured me that I was reaping all kinds of benefits and
Right.
no negatives.
And no negative. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
right.
So there's definitely benefits
Yep.
to that part.
Sure, and I thought about just saying, screw it, I'm not going to go to the doctor.
No.
But I had the money to spend on the doctor,
Yeah.
and so I said, well, let's go. You
Right.
know, and I was curious about how I was curious about how all my glands were, like how all my systems were responding to it, because I definitely needed to know some things. You know, I wanted some science behind it, not only to make an interesting YouTube video, but also because I wanted to also take the science and compare it down the road.
Yeah.
And then take the stress test and the blood panels again and see what they say.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be like even more than I expected.
Right.
Damn.
I just think that, yeah, like with any other diet or anything else, is how committed is somebody.
That's true.
And
That-
then doing it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Because any diet, you can
You are
do
absolutely
damage
right.
to your body
Yeah,
physically
that's true.
if you're not following it correctly and not following up.
There's a saying, what's the right diet for you? The one you can stick to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I tell people too, you know, I say, look, it might not be the one for you. You might ask more than you're ready to give. But any path you follow, there's got to be a positive to it. And if you are faithful to it, then you'll reap the benefits.
Yeah.
You know? But I would say that if you want to go thermonuclear, DEFCON 5, then do this shit.
Yeah.
And then throw in a dry fast or two.
Well, I mean,
Whoa.
I know you tried a lot of diets.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, everything under the sun.
over the years.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, the cool thing about this was that it wasn't like, it was a strategy, but there was this tool that I never really understood that I had sitting there on the shelf and I'd never taken it down, which was ketosis.
Right.
And everybody's capable of it. I said, well, I'm going to take my tool and work it to the wheels.
Now, do you have
fall
to
off.
live doing this for the rest of your life?
I'm glad you asked that. My path on the snake diet has been what I call phasic. Okay. The first thing I committed to was to get in and get out. Cole was like, look, man, all his videos, he always says, hurry up, lose weight fast, and get done, because you're not supposed to be in the stand ketosis all the time.
Right.
It's not good for you to
Right.
be in a stand ketosis
Or we
all
would
the time.
try to do that always,
like-
all of us.
Right. I mean, think about it back in when there weren't supermarkets. Like, think about when the country here had nobody had come over from Europe yet.
Right.
Right? But let's say the people who come over from Europe, they're not getting any help from the Indians. They got to find their own food. Well, a lot of them were in ketosis, big time.
Right.
Right? But then they find food. Okay, so they were maxing out on ketosis, finding their food. Then they had to digest it and immediately find more food. So they were constantly in and out of ketosis. There probably weren't many fat people at all until until the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
So
well, because food was
Yeah, food was
nutrition,
scarce,
it wasn't, and it also wasn't used the way we use it now as comfort and everything.
So that's relative to my experience on it, is that it's been phasic. At first, I artificially reproduced that environment where I wasn't getting food under my own, I was under my own thumb.
Right.
You're not going to eat, right? And I thought that too. How long do I have to keep this up? Well, as you get leaner, you just have to have food. Like, your fast can't be that long. It's just your body just starts to.
There's not enough
starts
fat
tell
for
you-
it to
yeah,
live
like
on
you,
either.
you start to not be able to think right. and
Right.
shit, right. But when you're super fat, you can last forever. I could have gone 30 days without
Right.
eating, right? If I weren't exercising. So I first started to realize, no, it doesn't have to be the exact same way the whole time, because once I got to a certain weight, then I knew that I could do shorter fasts. And it was time for me to actually kind of dip my toes back in the water and say, okay, we're going to see if we can't now control our weight,
Right.
right? And be even more strict on the refeeds and make sure that I don't have, if I do have cheat meals, that they are restricted to a particular item. And that way, I can see what the
How it
trends look like
affects
on
you
the
and
scale
everything.
and how you feel and everything, right? Mostly it was the scale. So I'm starting to learn now that variety is bad when you're trying to lose weight. You don't want mysteries.
Right.
Was it this today? Was it that today? No, just pick the one meal. If I could go back in time, I would just have what I have right now on refeed minus the sweet potato, and I would be in 6 months. I'd have all my weight gone.
Right.
Not in 11. Okay, so you were talking about hormones and stuff after the kids.
When? So after I had Kaylin, I was 27, 27, and I had breast cancer.
Yeah, we were talking about how life changes and you just can't eat everything
Right.
that you want to eat.
Yep.
And so when did that change for you
So
after Kaylin?
after the breast cancer,
were
because
how
I
old?
lost weight, I was probably close to 28 then. And then I started feeling better, and I started eating, and then all of a sudden, yes, it was like a little bit of weight here, a little bit of weight there. Because before that, I could eat anything. The only time I gained weight was when I was pregnant, And then, about 28, it started, and then I'd say in my 30s, it really hit hard.
What is that biological change, that hormonal change that happens when someone goes from being able to handle a certain amount of sugar to having that same amount of sugar just start creating liquid fat, like because that's what happens,
Right.
is that your liver makes you eat so much sugar that the amount of glycogen you make from it, your liver just can't metabolize it.
I just think it's more
It
like,
spills
yeah,
over.
your metabolism changes dramatically at some point, and I think my metabolism took it. I always had like a high metabolism. I was tiny. I was always tiny.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I am no longer tiny.
I mean, what happens, like, you eat sugar and the pancreas,
I don't think
produces
it's sugar
insulin.
though, is what I'm trying to say. It's anything. I could eat like salad and I would gain
Really?
weight. Yes. It's not just sugar.
But are you sure, though? Because,
No, I'm sure.
Because here's the thing.
I
You
know.
might have had sugary ingredients on the salad. You got to really, like,
Right.
when we're talking biochemistry,
No, I get-
it all comes together.
Right. I mean, not eating junk food doesn't mean you're not eating sugar. Bread has
Right,
sugar in
sure,
it. Yeah.
right, right.
But I just know that.
But you know that shit was changing.
Right.
Yeah. and you're-
Dramatically.
Right.
And then
Right.
probably about, when did my dad die? 2010, so 8 years ago. So I was like 30, 40, 36, 37. That's
Yeah.
when I really, like, literally, it was a dramatic change.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was 20 pounds heavier than I've ever been in my life. And the only thing is now it seems like a plateau. Like I stay at that weight.
Well, have you've learned how to eat?
I don't think that's true.
No?
I don't eat properly at all.
Yeah, but you may not eat properly, but you eat just the right amount of
I think
improper.
the difference is,
You know?
okay, as my dad would say, I would graze at night in my late 30s. And now, or my mid 30s, and now I don't graze at night. I don't eat much of anything. I usually eat one meal a day. It's usually dinner, and only because I have to cook for everybody else, or I probably wouldn't even eat that. And I would still gain weight not eating.
So
I'd
you
still
wake up in
gain
the morning
weight.
and don't eat anything.
I don't eat. I drink coffee.
So you drink coffee in the morning, and then
coffee in
afternoon
the
when people go
afternoon.
on lunch break, what do you do?
Drink coffee.
You drink coffee through lunch break.
I drink
Right.
coffee all day until I
Okay.
get home and have dinner.
Okay.
And sometimes, if like tonight, I don't have to cook for anybody, I may not eat dinner. Like that muffin may be all I ate today, and I could probably gain 3 pounds.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good metabolism. I don't think. Although I will say this, I started taking vitamins and I noticed a difference. That's another thing. Like I noticed that I don't get, but more I'm not grazing because I had a bad habit of grazing at night, which I always did. It just didn't affect me until my mid 30s. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't understand why our bodies have to change like that. Like we should be 80 and our metabolism should still be like us.
Well, that's, people study biorhythms, and there's a lot of info on there. There's a lot of information about it, and to try to sift through it all, it's it's a job.
No,
you
but
know?
I can tell you there was a difference between 2 births and the 3rd birth and losing the baby weight. That even was a difference from 21 and 24 to 27. That made a
The
huge
amazing
change.
thing is that chemistry it doesn't require anybody to tell it to do anything.
No.
It just all happens in the darkness of the blood. And it's fascinating. Man.
Right.
If I had to do life all over again, well, I would like to be able to pick to redo life 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, because in the one life I could learn how to play the piano on the bass and be a great musician. And then in the other life I could learn how to be a biochemist. Right?
But do you
And
think it
in the
would
other
matter in any of these lives whether you were thin or heavy?
life, it all matters if you're thin or heavy. It all does.
I'm saying you still could be a great piano player and violinist whether you weigh 300 pounds or whether you
Yeah,
weigh...
I'm talking about there's you can't put your eggs in 92 different baskets. The fire can only take so many irons.
Right?
Because each fire each pursuit you can study your whole life.
But, and also, like, if you really think about it, right? Part of life is learning, growing, changing, experience. Going back and being able to do it again,
If you
without
can
knowing
take,
what
if
you,
can
right,
take. Yeah,
and you
can
could take,
that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
both.
But then
Yeah.
it wouldn't really be your life.
Yeah, to wish that would be to wish that without that would be insanity.
I'm just getting technical.
Yeah,
Like, technically, you wouldn't be. Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
we're
living.
just
You'd just
see,
be.
but who knows?
moving in the
but
motion.
who knows now, right? Maybe the being who puts us back on the planet is listening to this conversation
Maybe.
right now and says, "Okay, he said he'd like to be a biochemist,
and
a
next
musician,
time you
and
come
this
back,
and that." And so the next
you'll
time
be a
he'll be that
musical
and I'll
biochemist.
give him a couple little seeds
Right.
so he can go off, right? So who knows, right?
I mean, I don't know. I have to wonder. Like,
Yeah.
I think do we, or maybe each time we're here, we're learning a little bit more and adding to it. Who knows? And that's why sometimes I think like babies and children don't survive because they're already perfect. They don't need to be here.
And that's the one thing about the snake diet that one of the things that really stands out to me is that when you're born, if you're born relatively healthy, your body always wants to stay in that condition. You know, it always wants to stay there because it's built with mechanisms to keep you in a perfected state, right? Whereas I'm not talking about perfection like nothing wrong. Okay, there's only, I mean, what's perfect, right? But if you look at the definition of the word to perfect, it means to just keep improving, right? We're going to perfect this, right? So our bodies are meant to kill off disease, keep us healthy, and keep us in a healthy state. They're always perfecting us, right? But as we get older, like in this country, man, you get all these different influences like don't drink, party, don't eat right, eat this, drink this, you know, take that, you know, think this way, think that way. And how much of that stuff is really positive, you know, and the negative shit feels good, you know?
Yeah, it does.
Like
Sometimes the bad stuff does
snorting
feel
a line
good.
of cocaine,
Yep.
or staying home and reading Moby Dick.
Right. Yeah.
Snorting a line of cocaine, going out to the party, and guzzling beer and rabble-rousing all night,
Right.
and smoking weeds, or staying home and crocheting.
But you see, I think that goes back to
Right?
in our younger years, we don't have that part of the brain. Like now that we're older, we're thinking like all the consequences.
Oh yeah.
When we're younger, none of that stuff is there. But here's a real question for you, because you're saying like, okay, like you were overweight since you've been young. I was
10.
thin when I was young.
Okay.
What if we were raised by different people? Because I think it's not okay. Most people overweight. There are some people that it's medical. It's a complete medical thing. Like they have no control over it. There's nothing they can do. It's medically, but that's rare. I think that our weight and the way we perceive ourselves and stuff totally comes from where we were brought up, who raised us, who surrounded us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a big puzzle.
And if you were, I don't know, I mean, I only know you from high school, but when you were in high school, I don't feel like people were mean to you or picked on you because of your weight. It was like,
well, no, because I was a guy,
right?
And I, you know, and I had two parents that would always tell you, with no shame in their game, what the hell your problem was.
Right.
One, my mom, she would say things that you would go, man, am I even her kid? Like, how the fuck did she say this shit to me, right? Right? She told me at a very young age, after she spanked me, I said that hurt my feelings. That's why God made your feelings.
Right. To be heard.
And so I learned, very early age, not to expect anything less than 100% her version of reality.
But just,
right? So it toughened me up. And then there were nights where she would literally come home to inflict verbal abuse on me. Well, I asked her. I said sometimes it seemed like you would come home and it was your mission. She said that was my mission, so you wouldn't grow up to be a pussy. That's what she said to me.
What if you? Okay, so if you go back, was your weight problem because you had an addiction to food?
I think my weight problem came from the surgeries.
Surgeries for
my bladder. I had reconstructive surgery on my bladder.
When you were how old?
since the very moment I came out of the womb.
But do you think, why do you think that has to do?
The anesthesia. I think the anesthesia fucked with my hormones.
But I mean, you don't think that...
I think that was the starting
Well, I
point.
don't know. I don't
think that
believe
was
it
the
can
starting point.
affect your hormones for 20 years
Well,
or 30
sure.
years.
Think about development.
I
right?
just think, listen,
The development of an infant to adolescence to right.
right?
And I had 7 surgeries.
Okay.
All which required massive amounts of anesthesia.
Right.
And as we know, drugs affect the endocrine system.
I get that.
Right.
But they don't long for 30 years.
But if you start taking in these massive amounts of drugs, no matter how great the anesthesiologist is, if you start taking in these massive amounts of drugs when you're still in diapers, right? And every other year you're having a major surgery, which requires another massive amount, another massive drug cocktail, right? And you're also taking painkillers after that, right? So I would say for the first 12 years of my life, I was taking a bunch of different pills for the effects of the surgery. And all that affects the weight. Now, I didn't really start having weight problems until 4th grade. And how old are people when they're
9.
Till 9. Okay, so 9 or 10. And it really didn't get out of hand until I was around, until my mid-20s. But I was always chubby. Now, in high school, when my grandfather was murdered, that I just shut off everybody and everything. I didn't care, right? It was like at Farmington High School, there was a lot of racism there, and there were a lot of teachers who were racist.
There was
saying
like
and would say
almost
like
no black
ridiculous
kids
shit,
there, yeah.
right? And you just go, what the fuck, man? And so when I would talk to my parents about that, and I'd talk to my mom and my brother, they would give me some insight into the racism, so I could figure it out. And they would give me insight into just like how my humans behave the way they do. And so my self-esteem would be so fucking trashed, right?
Right.
And then I had great friends, right? We all loved to laugh and everything. And I was athletic to a certain degree, right? And so I always had a good family and a good, happy, really friendly friend base. But you have experiences and they fuck with your psyche.
That's right. That's what I'm getting at.
So all these things, it's a big puzzle piece.
Like, let's say you were Larry
But
and raised by other people. Do you think?
Physiologically, I don't know. That's too big of a puzzle.
Because you're clearly capable of being thinner.
Sure.
So what I'm like getting at is like going back into childhood and everything. Like me being raised by somebody else or in a different surrounding.
I think
maybe I'd be heavier. Maybe
I think that if I were raised in a house where both parents were on the same page as far as what gets served for dinner, there might have been a chance that I would have eaten a little healthier. But on the one side, I had my mom, who she wasn't lording over her ideas and her thoughts about nutrition on anyone, like my dad was.
Right.
Because my dad, he's a scientific guy by nature.
Yeah.
And so when he started reading about all the health effects of different types of food and everything, and he was getting into running and wanting to lean out, he had to find a new way to eat.
Yeah.
So his life in that aspect was shared with us. He would always share with us what he found out about changing from this food to that
Right.
food, and so on and so forth. And that started me off in being interested in how to feed myself better, or like, why are we getting fat? Why are we getting it? Like, what's the better? So I think that if I had 2 parents that were very strict with the food but see, life is always gonna fuck with your self-esteem. It's always gonna give you an emotional component. And so that's the part about eating, is that like any thought that you have, rarely is it just a pure thought, right? There's always an emotional component to it. If I say, when we went and had coffee and dessert after the meet, was that a good time?
Yeah. I had fun.
See how you smiled?
Yeah.
Right? Now, when Jason fell in the middle of the night,
No, that was terrible.
See how your face just changed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you always have you can't think about stuff
No.
and not have an emotion attached to it. It's very difficult. So it's like the dance, right?
I just think that our weight is correlated in the most part, just like everything else. Our weight, our mind, the way our personalities, everything. It's what we're surrounded by, what we know.
Yeah, you're the
like,
sum of your experiences.
you know, and
Yeah.
and should we be brought up in a different environment, we'd be different people, you know, in theory. But then at the same time, I have raised 3 children in the same household.
Yeah.
And they're all very different. You know what I mean? So
Yes, they are.
Just it is like, you know,
Yep, I know your kids, and yes, they are.
like maybe
They're
we
all
are just who
completely
we are, and no matter what situation
Like I
we're
said,
thrown
it's
into,
too it's too complicated.
No, but
You
weight
know?
wise, I was just wondering if you
Yeah.
felt like you used food as a tool at some point.
Sometimes,
or-
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Catholic school, and there were, honey buns, right? Mm-hmm. I love honey buns, right? And so I had saved up allowances because they started bringing honey buns in.
Yeah.
Right? And at Catholic school in Detroit, black kids, it was a sport making fun of your ass.
Right.
I mean, like, it was comedy, pure
Yeah.
comedy. But to a sensitive person who's on the other end of that,
Right.
it can be something
Torture.
to navigate
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
your emotional navigation, right?
Right.
And it took me a little while to desensitize to it and figure out, oh, this is supposed to be fun.
Right.
Well, let me start cracking wise on people, right? But before that, I was feeling really alienated. And so one day, I was sitting down. I had my lunch, and I had 3 honey buns, right? And I knew that 3 honey buns was way over the top, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna eat this shit because I'm starting to flunk a couple glasses. Motherfuckers are calling me fat, and I'm sick of this shit. And this was like my feel good stuff, right? And then, so maybe I think it was my brother and 5 of his friends were walking through the cafeteria because they were upperclassmen and they ate at different times. And so they were walking by my table and they all came and sat down with me. And my brother was checking up on me, just seeing how I was. And his buddy Walter sat down across from me.
At times.
Well, they can do whatever they want as long as they pay me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and as long as I know what to look for, so I don't get listed.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm good, because Jesus Christ, it's like a minefield out there now. It almost makes me not want to do it because like the tiniest little thing just ruins your career.
Well, kids are crazy.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
because parents are involved. Yeah.
That's
They
right.
just want to stand back and go,
There was a kid in
you
Canada.
messed up, you messed up, you
Yeah,
messed up.
point the
But
finger.
I'm
No
not
accountability.
at home taking
No-
care of my
no
kids.
accountability.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
that?
home maybe between 2 and 4
Isn't my
on
accountability your job
Thursday.
now?
Yeah.
There's
And that's
a-
why the kids are the way they are.
There's a guy in Canada, Cole Robinson was talking about this in one of his videos. This guy in Canada was overweight, and his kid was overweight. And his kid was at school getting bullied and picked on and shit. And they started doing snake dive protocols. Next thing you know, because it's a kid, all his weight's gone.
Right.
And the dad's leaning out, and now the kid's at home they bought a little home gym, and they're working out, father and son, and then the kid's making friends. He's joined the hockey team, the football team, and the kid's not getting picked on anymore. He's got buddies, and the self-esteem's going through the roof. His body, like, he's got this amazing body for a 12-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they call Child Protective Services on the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Because they claimed he was starving his son.
Mm-hmm.
So they left that school district and found a school district that would allow the dad to control how his kid ate. And it happened to be like 60 miles away, where they said it's
Which is
worth the
ironic
drive.
because what about the parents that feed their kids 12 packs of cookies? I mean, if you're going to comfortably send the guy that you
Right.
think it's what's the difference?
Right.
You're fattening your kid. You know what I'm saying?
They could have done that to my folks.
Literally.
Right?
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, they could have done that to. They would be if the situation was reversed for why they call it child protective
Yeah,
services.
but that's what I'm saying. If you can call because you think a person is
Right,
dieting a kid
right,
and keeping
right,
them healthy,
right,
why
right.
the other way?
And it just may
Yeah.
start to happen.
Yeah.
The more people start catching on to the beauty of fasting.
Right.
It may just start to be a bad look for you as a parent if you're not really watching what your kids are eating, right? So, future is interesting, and really interesting. But I just thought that was,
That's an interesting story.
yeah, that was bizarre. And the kids on the Facebook group.
Well, and I could see, like, because there are parents that literally, with salt water and stuff,
Yeah.
will make their children sick. It's a very big thing with Munchausen by proxy.
Is it? Explain that.
Like, they feed them bottles of salt water, and then the kid gets very sick, and then they get attention because their kid is very sick.
Oh, because
You
Munchausen
see what I'm
is,
saying?
is,
So,
yeah,
with the snake diet and the water being, you know what I'm saying? That's where I could see people going, like,
right. Well, here's the thing.
but if you don't know the rest of the story.
Well, here's the thing. And this is where education comes in. Now, to just go straight salt water and no food, in a school system that if you do your research, you're going to find out whether it's going to be a problem or not.
Right.
So just because the one avenue doesn't totally fit it cut and dry, doesn't mean that there's not ways to circumvent the problems. So let's say if I just can't, if it's the logistics was just delightful completely for me to move my kid from one district to the other.
Right.
Right? Even if I could do it if it was allowed, right? Because the school I'm at would give me shit for making me fast my kid. So here's what you do for that. You tell the school he's going to have a particular amount of calories that are going to have a particular amount of protein, fat, and carbs.
Right.
That way, right? And you keep the carbs at the super, super low end,
Yeah.
right? And then you worry about the fasting when the kid comes home or over the weekend.
My thing is
right?
just logical. The people that make these phone calls don't know what the frick they're talking about.
No.
And that's the problem, is that you're looking at
They're
it
just do-gooders.
logically.
Right.
And what I'm trying to say is they see, I'm going to tell you, the biggest scary part of the snake diet when you see everything in life is the water, the salt water. Okay, because everything we learn about salt water
I
is
see.
you don't drink salt water
Right,
because
sure.
it will dehydrate you, it will
Right,
make you sick.
right,
So
right.
these parents aren't looking at the fact that, oh, well, when the kid eats, he
Right,
eats
they're
ABC.
seeing it through a certain lens.
They're just looking at, and as I said, a lot of parents that are cuckoo start to note the fact that,
Yeah.
like these mothers that make their children sick, salt water is a big avenue to do that.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Child Protective Services, even.
And
if I call and I
and
say,
so their stupidity is our burden.
Yes.
Right. So that's why the education.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's ignorance. Ignorance
Like,
is ignorance will
yeah.
will fuck you up.
yeah, but
Right.
it's the way the world is.
Right. But
Yeah, and everybody wants to be up in everybody's business. And
There you
everybody
go.
wants
Right.
to parent
Right.
everybody else's kid, but not their own.
right. That's why you have
Yes.
to. And that's why you have to educate.
Yes.
And so you get there's a great punk rock song. It's called "Big Lizard in My Backyard." Okay. And the bridge of the song, there's a really great lyric where the singer singing says, he's talking about how he woke up in the middle of the night, right, to the sound of dynamite, and he ran downstairs to find an army man who said, "We've got to blow up those things we don't understand."
Right.
So I just really love that lyric, but it's like these outside forces, they don't understand anything, and so instead of trying to figure out how to weigh the pros and the cons, they just panic it and just blow shit up, and then everybody's involved.
Or if something
Right?
I don't know, I'm gonna
Right.
make a big deal
Right.
of it.
It's like-
Instead of learning or
Right.
asking.
It was like when a certain person's mom, in a roundabout way, called me a moron, right? Because she is the RN,
Right.
and she is the authority,
Yes.
right?
And it was idiot.
Right. Thank you. Moron, idiot. Yeah. What is the difference, right? So I was under attack. All right, KT. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you, man. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
right.
just unfortunately with anything new that's big, there's always questions. But
Right.
in this particular case, with the snake diet, if you told me before, if I didn't know you and I just saw what I saw online and didn't know everything I know about it, that would scare me. But then I would not call social services. I would question.
Thank you for not calling social
That's
services
what I'm
on
saying.
me.
No, but I mean, then you'd question it. Like a normal person would question it.
Yeah.
And then go, well, what is the kid eating? Is this happening? Unfortunately, in this world, I think there's just, like I said, people are so preoccupied with everyone else and have nothing but time to waste.
And then they bring in their
Yes.
misunderstanding, and it's
Yes.
all messed up.
Yes.
Now listen to this. I found a better way to hydrate than the salt water.
What's that? The alkaline?
I found a way better way.
What?
I make a coconut, celery, carrot, and magnesium water.
Uh-huh.
So basically, I go to the store and I buy 4 bags of carrots. I buy two bunches of celery, and I buy
Coconut?
coconut. I buy coconut water. And so what I'll do is I'll buy 6 liters of coconut water, and I'll juice the carrots. You know, I peel the carrots, and I'll juice the carrots, and I'll juice the celery, and I'll add in because I want it to stretch for 5 days. So I'll multiply 5 times 420, which is 420 milligrams. 420 milligrams is the RDA of magnesium.
Okay.
So if I want to stretch 5 days, then I'm going to add in what will come out to be 0,
Too much math for me.
2100 milligrams of magnesium. So that comes out to be just a little bit over a tablespoon and a half of magnesium
Where do you
powder.
get magnesium?
From health food
Okay.
stores. It's like they call it, I forget what the brand name is.
Citrate, like magnesium.
Yeah, it's like it
citrate.
comes in a bottle.
Yeah.
And so I throw that in there, and it really smooths everything out, right? Then I'll throw in like a little lemon extract, a little lime extract, and here's the thing: I get so much magnesium, potassium, sodium, chloride, which are 4 of the most important electrolytes. The other ones are bicarbonate and
Right.
calcium, right? And then there's 6 more outside of
Yeah.
that really are they say you should only like really only need a trace amount.
Right.
But and I also I put 3 drops of iodine into the whole mixture. And I think actually it's easier for me to lose weight.
Really?
Because my thyroid might be working better because of the iodine. You know, because the iodine is heavy in egg yolks.
Yeah.
But to put 3 drops in the snake juice, it definitely gives me maybe a little bit more iodine
Of
than
a boost,
right.
yeah.
But the kid who has the channel on YouTube, the Vegetable Police.
Uh-huh.
This kid had ulcerative colitis to the point where his hair was falling out, and he had seen every doctor in his area, and even made travel to go see a few doctors, and nobody could help him. And so he had to fend for himself, and so he started Googling and doing his own research, and he found the fruitarian diet. And that started to bring him back to life. He started to grow his hair back, his ulcerative colitis symptoms, right, started to wane. And he said, well, he's so desperate to live and have a good quality of life. He said, well, it's cheap to live in Thailand, and they got the best fruit there, so I'm going to pack up and go to Thailand. He moves to Thailand. And he shows up to Thailand as a vegan fruitarian.
Right.
And he's back now in Toronto, but he spent a year there. And towards the last, say around month 8 or 9, he decided to start eating meat, which his whole base is vegan. So all these maniacs started death threatening him, you know, just like freaking out on him. But he said in a couple of videos, you know, I'm paraphrasing him, he says, you know, I didn't get into this to be accepted by the vegans.
Right.
I got into this to figure out how to live.
Yeah.
And if
What works for me.
eating raw meat is helping me stay alive, and so I don't shit blood
Yeah.
all fucking day. Guess what I'm going to do?
Right.
Fuck you, right?
Yeah.
So now he's back in Toronto, and he's trying to figure out, again, where he can go to get the best food and this, that, but he has a much, much better idea. And where was I going?
I don't know. you were telling me about him, and
I was telling you about.
before that you were talking about your water.
All right. Okay. So thank you. So I was watching a video by the vegetable police, and he was talking about the snake juice, and he said, you know, it's tough, man, to recreate the right hydration mix.
Right.
Because are you going to be short on this? Are you going to be short on that? Because why not let nature do it? He goes, I can go and get coconut water and I get all the magnesium and all the potassium I need right there. I don't need to add it.
Yeah.
All I need to do is drink enough of it and I get all that. Now, if you're worried about a little bit of carbohydrates, then go back to making the salt
So
water.
this is where you found this.
Well, here I am. I can now consume carbs.
Right.
And I've done all the I've done the nutritional information on what a liter provides me as far as carbohydrates. 25 grams of carbohydrates. So if I drink that before I go to the gym, that's going to spend. It's not going to affect my fat loss.
Right.
It's not going to get the insulin spike is going to be like doop,
Right.
instead of this massive thing, which was what I'm very concerned with. Always concerned with the insulin even
Yeah.
right now, because I don't want to jump the gun and start being able to eat 2 or 3 times a day if I'm not ready for that. I would like to be able to eat twice a day, once at noon and then once
Yeah, that
at
wouldn't
evening.
be terrible.
That
I
would be
think most
awesome,
people can do
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean once a day. It took me 5 months to get into the once a day. Like I started in October.
Yeah, I know.
Middle of October.
I know. It took you a long time. I know.
But it's just like riding a bike.
Right.
So, and I was thinking, God, can I sustain 1 meal a day?
Right.
Well, yeah, because I sustained the snake diet, no eating. And so it was just like when I wasn't alarming myself.
Right.
You find shit to occupy your time so you don't think about what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then the time goes by, and guess what? It's time to break a fast. Now, you can eat your 1 meal whenever you want. Just know that before you eat or after you eat, you're going to have to find some to occupy your time.
Right.
And and you probably got to get going, but here's the thing. Right?
Go ahead.
Here's the last thing I'll say, is that I was talking with my coach about 1 meal a day in powerlifting. And I said, man, it just makes fucking sense, because you give yourself 24 hours to digest 1,800 calories.
Mm-hmm.
As a guy who's not taking any gear, I'm not taking steroids. My system has enough to do with the 1,800 calories.
That's like just so little bit of calories.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not getting weaker in the gym.
But I mean, I don't know
I'm
how you're
making more
not
muscle.
losing weight still.
I am.
And that's your goal right now, is to keep losing.
Yeah,
Because you're like 1,800 calories short of
Yeah,
staying
I
at
lost-
the same weight.
Yeah, I lost weight overnight by eating.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Almost,
saying.
yeah, right?
1,750
right.
calories, yeah.
Right.
Because you need 3,600
Right.
to,
So here's the thing.
yeah.
Until I start losing strength in the gym, the diet stays the same.
Right.
So when is that going to happen? It will happen.
Yeah, you'll plateau.
And then we'll
Adjust
figure out
from there.
what I need to add into the diet.
Right.
Which will be more calories in some form. It'll probably be in the sweet potatoes, or it's either going to be sweet potatoes or beef, whichever one. And
Do you
I'll
ever
probably,
just want to go out to eat and eat, like, whatever?
yeah, and I do.
Oh, you
I
can
did that.
have a
I did that on
okay.
my. I did that on my niece's birthday a couple
Okay.
weeks ago.
I'm
went
just
and had-
scared.
Yeah, I was telling you about it. We went and had all
Well,
that.
I'm just saying, because previous to this, yeah, we would be like...
See what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, and that's, I would tell
Because
that
to
to
me,
anybody.
like, part of life is, you don't have to, like...
You have to enjoy it.
Eat, right. Yeah,
My-
exactly.
when my dad-
And occasionally, you have to enjoy a meal you're eating. It
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah.
just be
Yeah.
to sustain
Right.
and
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or just being around the people eating.
Right.
With people. Is,
Right. I mean, you got to know that for every decision you make, there's consequences.
Right.
Right. Now, with my dad on his way out, starting the real downhill in November, as long as I didn't put on 50 pounds, I didn't give a fuck.
Right, yeah,
I
yeah.
ate whenever
Yeah.
I wanted with family, whenever. I'm not going to be that guy like
Right.
my dad's in the next one fucking dying and I'm going to fast.
Counting
No.
it, yeah.
Right. They fucking
No, but
asshole,
see, that's
right?
my point
part of
too.
it,
Look,
right.
but nothing changed. Like, you didn't gain.
No, I didn't.
And that's
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Because I
So,
was
like,
trained up to that.
that's why at the beginning of this when I asked about
Right.
doing
right.
it forever. So like,
Right,
see,
right.
your body
Right.
has changed enough where
That's
you
it.
can.
And you know how to operate the tool.
Right.
I know how to use the tool of ketosis.
Or if you
now.
start gaining weight, you know what to do. You're not going to panic. It's
Right.
not like,
And that's the thing is that, like you said, what diet is the right one for you is one
Right.
you can stick to. Now, for me, I had a lot
I
of
don't know how
things
the hell you stuck to this.
because I saw what happened with my mom.
I get it, but I
that
still
trigger.
don't know how you stuck to this. That's still
Because
an
fear.
overwhelming, like of
Fear.
dying.
Fear. I didn't want to know. I don't want to know 17 goddamn doctors when I'm
Right.
their age.
Right.
I want to be a
Okay.
strong old man
Yeah.
who dies either in a catastrophic accident or gets chainsawed
Right.
or eaten by a shark,
falls asleep
but
and just
not in the middle of the night
yeah.
who wakes up
Yeah.
and his
You
brain's
don't wanna be
exploded in
45
5
and
places
sick, yeah.
and having someone wiping my ass
Right.
in the middle of the night.
You still may have that. Just so you know, you could be
I
completely
could.
healthy and that
I
could
could.
still happen.
I could.
But at that
Right.
point, you've earned it. So.
You know that song, Your Own Personal Jesus, right? Your own personal Jesus.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
You know, by Depeche Mode.
Oh my
Reach
God, it's so
out,
old.
reach
Okay,
out,
yeah,
touch
yeah,
faith.
yeah.
It's your own personal Jesus,
Right.
right? Okay, so here's the only way I see like God being in existence is that you get your own personal God, right? Because the God, if there's a God who controls everything, right? Then he's got the power to divide himself up and clone himself for everybody. And he just sits and he just hangs out with you while you're
Right.
alive, right? And says, I'm not going to help him out of this
No,
one,
but-
right? Right? I'll help him out of that one,
I don't
right?
know. I just know that like all these theories
Seriously,
we all think of, like
if you
it's,
if you created the fucking
but
universe,
how perfect
right?
does the universe and everything run? There has to be some, like whether it be godless, there has to be something greater than us because there's
Who knows?
no way. Plus, I feel like we must. Why are we here? We have to be entertaining someone.
Who knows? Who knows,
And as they
right?
always say,
It's
if you
bizarre.
really want to make God laugh, make a plan.
Yeah, and here's my response to that. Because I always wrestle with that too.
Right.
God's plan. Well, then why the fuck do I even need to make one?
Right. Well, you do because he wants to. I feel like he guides us, but we're not without free will or making
Yeah, you
choices.
get free will, right?
Right. But that he knows where we're gonna go.
Yeah,
and-
if there's God's plan,
Yeah.
there's your plan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and when God's plan is time to come in,
Yeah.
then it's gonna happen.
Like things happen to lead you there, whether it be your choices or
Right.
whatever.
Now-
I don't know that everything's set in stone per se,
yeah,
but
who
I
knows?
think there's
Because
a
there's
general.
some really wrong
Yeah.
shit that
No,
happens
and
that completely
Right.
makes you
Question
say,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Say,
No.
fuck all that
Yeah.
shit.
I've had
That
my moments.
Does not
Yeah.
even exist.
Yeah.
You know.
I've had my moments,
Yeah.
believe me, like when I was with Darnell or things like that. No, but or why am I saying like I got married in the eyes of God and shouldn't get divorced? But then what God would want me being abused or what God would?
Right.
I do think that, but I think that again, right? All of that is part of what makes me me, and it leads me to what my end thing is. Do you know what I mean? Like Jason being there 24 years ago. Do you know he came into my life right after I had Austin when I felt like, love, gonna be the single mom, nobody's gonna love me, nobody's gonna whatever. And then when I was just feeling like, again, 24 years later, like, like I'm probably gonna be alone, and I was settling with it, and like I was starting to accept this is just I'm gonna have these kids, and I
Yes,
threw myself
what it
into
is.
it, and then he showed up, and he, like. I don't believe that happens without some kind of
Yeah, shit just doesn't happen
Yeah,
without a reason.
right.
In my
no.
world.
And every person who talked to me, just even in passing
Yeah.
today, I talked to some guy outside of Baptist Manor when I was with my patient. And I'm like, God, he's driving his car, and I'm like, oh, you missed a spot. And he started laughing. Then he's telling me about 12 Mile Orchard Lake, the car wash, $12 a month. You can get a wash every day for $12. And I'm like, that's cheap. Whatever my
Yeah,
reason,
it
he
is cheap.
introduces himself, tells me what apartment he lives in. For whatever reason, that person was supposed to have contact with me in my life. Do you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
I with him.
yeah.
Maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was
Well,
me.
I get it. Yeah, I
I
get it.
just really believe
Completely,
it all. Like I'm not saying that God, like everything's set in stone, but there's
Yeah.
definitely
Well, when I was at the height of my addiction and alcoholism, no, fucking way I thought I could stop.
Right.
I was just like, I'm really fucked.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know how many, because God knows I was trying.
Yeah.
At least what I thought I was
Right.
trying. I didn't know shit about what trying
No.
was until I found out that I got a hanging judge, and if I come back to that judge because of any violations
You're
of
going
my
down.
probation, yeah, I get 120 days
Yeah.
in jail.
Well, that's what your
Right?
bottom was.
And so, yeah, and so I said, well, I could try to not circumvent the drug and alcohol test and stay free
Right.
and just go to home, to school, and back. And, you know, and be ready to tell whatever cop it is, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm taking this pathway for X, Y, and Z because I'm on probation, and just completely stay free. Or I could try to figure out and circumvent and fail, because I was going and hearing people at Jams. Or no, it wasn't Jams, it was Adam. That was the place where my drug testing and alcohol testing was. And so you'd have to go in there, and you took a you have to take a piss.
Right.
And they look at your dick.
Right.
Or they look at your vagina.
Yeah.
And to make sure that
You're not
it's
hiding it, yeah.
right. And so I'm hearing people every single time I go in there get busted.
Yeah.
And they're looking, these people are coming out like, oh fuck, I gotta go back to court and explain
Right.
this. I didn't want to do that
Right.
because I knew that I'd be wearing an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. So it was so easy for me.
But again,
That was that choice. It was like,
it is a choice, but also God put all those little red flags in front of you.
here's-
That's like
and here's
to
and
guide
here's-
you.
and
But at the
here's-
end of the day,
Here's why I think that was a divine intervention. Because I asked for it. I said, you know, and I am not a Bible beater.
Right,
I'm not
neither
even
am
a
I.
traditional Christian.
Nope,
Okay.
not either.
Like I think that Christianity, the way man has brought it, is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
There's nothing but just slaying of people.
yeah,
So
I totally
bullshit.
agree.
I'm not your traditional Christian.
No,
I'm not a
it's-
churchy
it's got
person.
very
You'll never catch
warped.
me in a church
Yeah.
again. But I asked, you know, I said, hey, you know, if you can pull me out of this would be great. And I'm not going to stop doing the damn thing I'm doing. I'm just not stopping anything because I can't do it, man. I just
Right.
can't do it. So I'm just going to go about my way. And if you could make it so there's like, so I'm not maimed or like mangled or killed or there's no shame brought on my family, that'd be great. But whatever you're going to bring, go ahead and bring it because I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I'm just going to keep doing it because I can't stop it. And then it's Thanksgiving morning. I wasn't even that, I pretty much I slept it off. But I woke up and I was still drunk enough to blow to fucking breathalyzer test up.
Yeah.
But at that stage, I was a notoriously high alcohol tolerance. I could drink 3/5
Right.
a day and still function.
Yeah.
And so I flunked the breathalyzer. I was like, huh, so this is what a DUI is like. But then I started realizing, well, here's your opportunity. No
Yep.
one got hurt. There's going to be a little bit of explaining to do,
Yeah.
but it's still basically all your problem.
Yeah. It's
So,
not shaming the
right?
family in it. Yeah.
Right, it's a little bit because they're like,
Yeah, it's disappointment, not shame, though.
They're like, this man hasn't learned anything.
Right.
But now he's getting ready to learn some. Like, you can't avoid this.
No.
Like, you have to confront this.
Yep.
And that's how I started weightlifting.
See, isn't that
You know,
funny?
right? And so now I've made some really great friends in weightlifting. I'm back with some really great people, right? And with home.
Haha, we have you fools.
Yep.
Just
And with home, yeah. And with that is a reconciling coming for that one. And so I made a guy friend. This guy in Canada, Cole. He was there for me every single time I would talk to him on
Right.
Facebook. Only because I was doing exactly what he asked me to do.
Right.
Because if you don't do that, he's got no time.
No,
to
because
fucking
why is
play
he going to
games.
waste his time?
Right. And
For you.
he's got
You're
10,
nobody.
Yeah, he's got 10 years
Yeah.
of watching human behavior.
Exactly.
And whenever I would talk to him about coaching people, he would anticipate what I was saying. He would go, well, they said this and that to you, didn't they? And I was like, yeah. He goes, He goes, they won't last.
Right.
He goes, you got to harden your heart a little bit, because if you're not ready, if they're not ready,
You're just
then
wasting your
you're
time
wasting
and
your
their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your time is valuable.
And he has never failed. There was a woman in Mexico, and I would love to talk to her again, because she had it, boy. But she had a spouse that forbade her, forbade her, whatever, to post accountability pictures.
Oh.
And that's critical.
And she did it? No, she didn't do it.
I never heard from her. Like, I talked with her for about 3 weeks straight, and she was.
I can tell you, if I was married to Darnell and I needed to do that, I would not have been able to do that without getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, she was disappearing before our very eyes. She was leaning out so fast, and her husband just like I never heard from her again after a certain point.
It's kind of sad and scary at the same time.
Yeah, it's sad and scary at the same time.
Because where my mind goes is way more terrible than where yours probably goes with it.
Not really, well, yeah, exactly. Like
I'm just saying.
Right? No, I would never say that I could relate.
No, but I just think that there should be, in that situation, there might be, what is it called? These are the rules, but maybe there's a.
Well, yeah, no, it's like.
No, but I mean, like, okay, we won't, because part of her doing that, if she's in an abusive or controlling relationship, is to make herself feel better, and it's doing something for her. And if she can't post that accountability post, there should be.
Right. Or if he's threatened by.
Or I'm saying, like, don't post it online, but can you send me the picture? Or, do you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah,
there should be,
but I didn't want her sending me pictures.
No, that's true too, because I'm like, that sounds bad unless you were a girl. So I guess what I would say is avoiding that post would be that way.
Right, now I have a cousin who won't post to
I mean, you
to
could
Facebook.
wear like a straight dress. I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying. There's got to be a way
always,
around it.
What's the word I'm looking for? No, like the rules, not a variation. It's an everyday saying, and it's not coming to my head.
To get around the rules or whatever, right? Either way,
no.
we know what you mean,
Yes,
right? It'll come to you, and yeah, but there must have been absolutely no leeway in that relationship, because she was smart as a fucking whip.
Right, but I'm telling you, somebody.
But you know, her controlling ass husband was threatened by it.
Yeah.
You know.
Because he's a little man with a little penis who can't handle.
Who knows the size of his cock? But he's a dick.
Yeah.
You know, because to stifle somebody's personal growth like that, because it threatens you, is.
But it's so easy to do because he has all the control.
Well, she gives him it.
You give it to them, but at the same time, there comes like this line where it's like you give it, and then eventually you don't even have the ability to. But her doing that is like, to me, a step trying to gain some control back and feel good about herself.
There's a pornographer who said in an interview about how what his wife thinks about him being a pornographer. And he said, well, I don't star in my movies anymore, and outside of that, it was something that we had to reconcile with, because men and women, husbands and wives, they have ways that they want their spouse to be.
Right.
And so with this woman, apparently he wasn't having it, and she went along with it. Now, down the road, maybe I might hear from her again. I hope so.
I hope she's still alive.
Yeah, because I mean, she was in the middle of Mexico.
I'm just saying.
She was about as Mexican as
I
they
just
come.
meant, like, hope her husband didn't.
Right, I know. Yeah, you hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. Give me shit. Yeah. No, because Jason and I go through that with the job he has. We have a balance.
Yeah.
I joke about it. We joke about it because it kind of sometimes helps my. But then there's moments where things are like his birthday. I had a very hard time dealing with that situation.
Sure.
But we got past it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're
But
right.
at least I can talk about it to him because that wouldn't have happened with Darnell. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we can
right,
communicate.
right.
I can be upset.
Right.
I'm allowed to be mad. I'm
Right.
allowed to not like something
Right.
Jason's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was always
exactly.
one-sided in my
Right.
other relationship. So
Yeah,
this
there's that authoritarian
Yeah.
aspect that
Yeah.
it just
No.
it's toxic.
Yep.
You know.
All right, I gotta go. 'Cause
All right.
Mom and